Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Daily Word today. Today is Wednesday, November 3rd. Sorry, I am a few minutes late this morning. Things are a bit crazy around the church today. Lots of activity going on, but I'm glad you could join me for a few minutes together as we share in our Daily Word and what it means for us and how God speaks to us through Scripture. So, it's a beautiful morning. It's cold. It was really cold this morning when I left to go to therapy. But it's a beautiful morning this morning. A couple things going to have lunch with the Red Hat ladies today, and then I'm speaking this afternoon at Christian Academy for their chapel service, and so I'm going to redo a bit of my sermon on Sunday. I think it'll be good, and so going to do that. I understand one of the teachers there who comes to church here has been using parts of my sermon during the week in the class, so that's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that today as we live our lives together. So I've chosen this scripture this morning from the Gospel of John. And, you know, we've heard all along, you've heard it lots and lots of times from me about the whole love God, love your neighbor thing, and how many times I preach about that and talk about that and reiterate it for us in our lives. But this is a little bit different. This is the setting in the upper room as John gives to us. It is Maundy Thursday. And the name Maundy Thursday comes from this particular text because Jesus changes course a bit with the disciples. So we know in the upper room that Jesus instituted the Last Supper. For us it's communion. We know in the upper room that Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. We know that Judas left. We know that there was lots of denial about what was going to happen, and lots of things being said. But we kind of get this bit of a different kind of thing, and the word comes from the word mandate. And Jesus gives a mandate here, and he says this: "I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You should also love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." So Jesus has been asked in the past about the greatest commandments, right? And he has always said that the greatest commandment is love God, love your neighbor. He's been asked that, and it comes from Deuteronomy, this original thing about loving God and loving your neighbor. And Jesus has implored the disciples to love, showed examples of love in his ministry all along the way. But this is a bit different. "I give you a new commandment," Jesus says, "that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you should also love one another." There's this interesting change that happens here. Jesus is mandating, imploring love for and through and with the disciples. He's calling them to this kind of great love. A new commandment, that you love one another. Now we get that, right? We've gone through the anxiety days of all this pandemic and COVID-19. We early on in the pandemic had no trouble with loving each other, staying home, washing our hands. We said, we can do this. We can do these hard things. 2 years later, almost 2 years later, loving one another has transformed itself, I think, into taking sides. We love one another by wearing a mask. We love one another by refusing to get vaccinated. And it seems like we get caught in this whole idea of that love is now, rather than we can do this, love is now taking sides. Jesus reminds us, I think, that it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. People are loved in Jesus' time. People are loved through healing, People are loved when he shares a meal, raising Lazarus from the dead. My favorite part, the story of raising Lazarus from the dead. One of my favorite things about that story, not that he didn't, it wasn't great that he raised Lazarus from the dead, but afterwards there was a meal held in the honor of Jesus, and Lazarus was there. To me, that's an indication of the kind of love that happens. Other kind of love happens through stories and teachings. Just like from Sunday morning, the parable of the sower, and I'm going to use that this afternoon at Christian Academy. Love encircles all kinds of things. But there's this reminder, that Jesus gives the disciples. I give you a new commandment, love each other as I have loved you. But then he adds this piece that's important. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples if you have love for one another. You see what Jesus does here? He changes the tune of the disciples. He didn't say because you have great knowledge. He didn't say because you have power to heal. He didn't say because you've been my friend for the last 3 years and followed me. He didn't say because what your name was. He didn't put any qualifiers like that in this. What he simply said was, everyone will know that you're my follower if you love one another. Now think about that. In the midst of our lives, where we struggle in the pandemic and we struggle, so the election was yesterday and there's still lots to be said about that and controversy and of course then prognostications about what's to happen. All of that, separates us for lots of reasons. But what I'm thinking about and what provokes me to thinking about this is that you and I, we should be known for our love. We should be known for our thinking about that. I've shared the story a couple times, and you've heard me share it, about the nurse when I was at the hospital a couple of days earlier this year. And, when she recognized me, had my perfectly fine with, she recognized me and said pastor and came out from behind the nurse's station and gave me a hug. And, I'm not, this isn't to be bragging because I'm certainly not. But, I said to someone the other day about her knowing me, and the person said, Jim, of course she knew you. I hope, now we didn't say it, but I hope she knew me because of my love and the love I shared with her when I was in the hospital those couple of days. That's what Jesus says to us. We're going to be known by our love for one another. That's a remarkable, amazing thing that Jesus calls us to. So, love looks like lots of different things to lots of different people. We have different needs, different ideas about what's going on in our world. Our own needs even change from one week to the next. We have this reminder from Jesus that the continued invitation of this text to love one another and to be known by that love is really an amazing call, and one that I hope that we would take seriously in our lives. So that's our word for today. Hold on to it. Be known for love. If nothing else, be known for love. I've always said, and I've teased about my obituary is going to say, Jim is dead. And that's all it's going to say. And on the back of my tombstone, I've teased and said, I wanted to say on the back of my tombstone, I told you I didn't feel good. And I say that jokingly, kind of not. But what I'd really hope, is that in spite of it all, Jim was known for his love. And that would be carrying out the mandate that we're given by Jesus. So, know of this love. Know of God's love that surrounds you, that surrounds me. Know of my love for all of you. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And I invite your prayers as I do the things I need to do today. Have a great day.